Hello, it is Super Orange Cat, and today I got Toonami's ratings for July 20th, 2019. Let's start at the top of the block. Dragon Ball Super this week pulls in a .33, Attack on Titan's rerun gets a .19, and the new episode pulled in a .17. Loop on the Third Part 5, it gets a .13 this week. Food Wars pulls in a .14 this week. Black Clover pulls in a .13. Boruto gets a .14. Shippuden gets a .13. Gundam is up to a .15. And My Hero Academia gets a .17. And how can I forget? The world's greatest anime, Jumoseto Machu Picchu, pulls in a .13 this week. In general, this was a small letdown compared to last week. Last week was a breath of fresh air. It was actually great ratings for a change. And I believe the only shows that went up this week were Dragon Ball Super, albeit that was by only 1/100th. Gundam, again by only 1/100th. And then My Hero Academia, which is by 2/100th. So I guess if there's a big winner this week, it's My Hero Academia in those regards. However, one thing to note is I think the biggest reason why the ratings weren't that impressive this week was because of the odd situation of having a rerun of Attack on Titan airing as the second overall slot in the block. And it still did well, .19, and it's a pretty important episode for the whole lore of the show. So a lot of people wanted to watch that again. It's very information packed. They wanted to make sure they got all the details down. But again, when he shows something that's a rerun so early in the block, it's gonna drag down ratings. As we saw way back last year, how Fully Coolly Progressive reran the entirety of Fully Coolly Progressive, if I recall correctly, reran at 11:30, relatively early in the block, and that completely sunk ratings. And then after Fully Coolly Alternative ended, I want to say the first episode or two reran at like 11:30 or midnight, which again hurt ratings for the short term there. So, and again, this isn't something like, oh, they should really change the schedule because this isn't going to happen next week. We have a new show in Fire Force coming next week. So that's not going to be much of a worry. Although for a rerun, .19 is a great number to get, I guess. I suppose, Attack on Titan really building. Next episode is the season finale. So let's see if we get a bump in viewership for that. It'd be interesting to see. That's going to air at 11:30, by the way, with Fire Force, the new show, airing at midnight. Since Toonami is not going to have a bumper out and not going to put a promo out on TV, I might as well be the big, I guess, person to go and tell you, hey, if you want to watch Fire Force with Toonami, watch it at midnight this upcoming Saturday night, because Toonami's not going to tell you that. And again, one thing I don't want to say, but I'm going to have to say, is Loop on the Third probably has to move down in the block. Loop on the Third currently is my favorite show on the block. That might be a bit of a controversial opinion, because from what I've seen, a lot of people don't really like Loop on the Third, but I do. And I guess to a degree, you can say the same thing about Food Wars. Like Loop on Third, yeah, actually, let me give me a second. Yeah, actually, at least tied for the worst ratings in the block. And it's the third new show. It's the fourth slot out of 10 in the block. And that's a pretty early time to just fall to a crater for the block, because afterwards, all the shows after it have to build. Like Food Wars, it's 1/100th higher than Loop on the Third. Black Clover, it does the exact same as Loop on the Third. Boruto, slightly higher than Loop on the Third. Naruto, the same as Loop on the Third, but later in the block, so it's much more excusable. And then even Gundam at 3 a.m. does 200s better than Loop on the Third. And My Hero Academia, pulling at a .17, does 4/100s better than Loop on the Third. And here's the thing. Right here, I don't know what the exact number of 18 to 49 viewers are, so I can't tie break between shows that have the exact same to the 100s place. However, it is plausible that My Hero Academia had the second highest rated new episode last week out of 9 slots. That's amazing for 3:30. And it's going to add a lot more fuel to the fire to the people who want to say, move up My Hero Academia, move up My Hero Academia. It's your it's your cash cow behind Super right now. And that's going to be interesting in the upcoming weeks. Like, we might get a new schedule for the August 3rd when we get the new show in Genlock coming to the block. So let's see if maybe My Hero Academia goes a little up on that. Maybe not. And you could say the same thing about Gundam. It again outperforms shows in front of it. And here's another interesting note. What I've been told is that Black Clover's currently in a training arc, which is why the ratings are kind of disappointing right now for the show. And also, likewise, not too long ago, people were saying Black Clover needs to move up. It's doing great ratings. Well, because it was for definitely most of this year, Black Clover's outrated the show before that, which usually is grounds for moving up, but it hasn't. And now it's not doing that anymore. This week it lost out by 100 to Food Wars. Food Wars beat it this week. So again, and I haven't heard that as much the last few weeks, talking about moving up Black Clover. But again, I think this week in general, if I had to sum it up, I'm saying a bit disappointing. Not a horrible week. Again, this is a very transient week because of how bizarre the schedule was regarding Attack on Titan. So I don't think we can take too much weight based on this week. But at the same time, if I had to wrap it up, I would say Dragon Ball Super is still your cash cow. It's the only thing that's remotely that can even sniff a point three. And also, all the people who are saying My Hero Academia got screwed over by being at 330 just got a lot more ammo. I mean, debatably being the second highest rated new episode of the night is not something just to simply shake your tail at. And even the same thing to Gundam too. They got a little more ammo to want to move up in the block. Especially a lot of people who are still frustrated at Jason DeMarco after he said a few weeks ago that Gundam was going to move to 1 a.m., but it not moving to 1 a.m. And that's interesting to see. We might sometime this week get a new schedule for August 3rd. We already have the schedule, like I said, set for this upcoming Saturday with a new episode, the season finale of Attack on Titan 11:30, and the new show Fire Force airing at midnight. But maybe when Genlock comes, they shift stuff around because I honestly hope they don't try to put Genlock as being Super's follow up at 11:30. You know, because it's already a drop enough in quality that you're dropping from Attack on Titan and switching in Genlock in its place. It's just gonna scream of some weird desperation or some Warner move if you have to make that. If you have to put it in your most lucrative slot, which again is being after Super. But what are your guys' opinions? What are your opinions about the ratings for this week? Do you think My Hero Academia should move up? Do you think Gundam should move up? Do you believe, like how I unfortunately do, that Lupin the Third probably should move down? What are your opinions? Leave your comments down below. I appreciate your support. If you want this content, if you want more Toonami news content like this, please subscribe, please like, please hit that notification button. Again, I appreciate your support. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.